Hi, I am Javin Kharod, a chemical engineer by profession, going to conduct today's topic, hot work permit procedure, in my YouTube channel. Okay, now what is hot work permit procedure? Hot work is frequently necessary in industrial operation, but the risk is never routine. Welding, cutting, brazing, grinding, and other spark producing tasks introduce ignition source into area that may contain combustible, flammable atmosphere, or hidden fire hazard. For safety and maintenance manager, the challenge is not just issue a permit to work, it is running repeatable hot work permit procedure that check area, confirm control, authorize the work and monitor condition and close it out properly. Now, some guide explain what a hot work permit is. When a hot work permit is required, the OSHA inform control that shape of the process, what a practical hot work permit checklist, how confined space hot work change the risk, and how digital workflow can support better execution. Now, what is a hot work permit? Hot work permit is a documented authorization used before work such welding, cutting, brazing and other ignition producing activity begin in a non-designated area. Purpose to confirm that how the work area has been inspected, the hazard have been assessed, required control are in place, the work has authorized by right person and the job can perform safely under stated conditions. Now, just important, the permit should treated part of border hot work management process, not just standalone checklist practice. The process usually include area inspection, hazard identification, control verification, authorization, monitoring during the task, firewatch required, post-work monitoring and closeout. Now, OSHA that before cutting or welding is permitted, area must be inspected, authorizing individual what written permit is preferable before the work start. Now, the count hot work, what count cold work. A practical way to explain hot work to start with ignition risk. Typical example of hot work are spark, flame, heat, molten material, ignition capable friction. Common example welding, oxy-fuel cutting, brazing, soldering with open flame, grinding that produce spark, torch applied heating and thermal lancing. Now example of cold work. Cold work in contact, the hot work generally refer tasks that do not introduce a significant ignition source. Common example of cold work, bolting and unbolting flange joint by hand, manual assembly using hand tool, pneumatic or hydraulic cold cutting method designate not to create ignition source. Now pipe fitting, threaded or flange connection instead of welding, inspection activity, instrument calibration, non-sparking maintenance task in control condition, painting, cleaning, replacing component where no spark and open flame is generated. Now, the distinction help manager decide when the permit to work for hot work process should apply. A useful rule of thumb is the task introduce ignition source into area not already designed and controller to routine the hot work treat as hot work. The task does not introduce ignition source. It may manage as cold work under other site control. Local procedure still matter. Low risk work will still require review. The specific safety control precaution, however, different. Now, when hot work is required, a hot work safety permit generally required when work created heat, spark or flame outside designated safe work area. In practice, safety and maintenance manager usually trigger the process when work creates spark, open flame and enough heat to ignite nearby material. Take a place in production, maintenance, warehouse, utility, process area rather than permanent hot work zone is preferred near combustible material, wall or floor opening, capable tray, lagging, insulation, equipment can transfer heat to hidden combustion. Occur tank, vessel, piping, container may contain residue and vapor. Take a place around the confined space is performed by contractor opening area. Happen, shutdown or overlapping activity where coordination is critical. OSHA make clear that hot work must be not performed where explosive atmosphere are present. If required, control cannot be implemented, the work should not proceed. How work permit requirement OSHA inform control that set the process. The practical hot work permit procedure built small set of control appear consistently regulation and guidance. Before cutting or welding permitted, OSHA required the work area to be inspected, authorizing individual. The inspection should confirm whether the work can done safely in place. The work should be moved designated safe location. Location unsuitable for the job should not proceed. OSHA written permit preferred. Before cutting or welding is permitted, the operational term, the permit becomes record. Who reviewed the job? What hazard were identified? What control were required? Who authorized the work? When permit was valid? Now, where practical, hot work should be moved designated safe location that is not practical, combustible material. However, they should be removed or protected. Now, are combustible with range of spark or sludge? Are the floor opening drain, penetration duct and wall cavity that could carry spark? Could heat transfer ignite material on opposite side of wall, floor or partition? Fire extinguisher equipment. OSHA required. Fire extinguisher equipment immediately available for use. Permit should verify. Equipment present. It is accessible. Is suitable. Likely. Fire class. Responsible personnel. Know where. Is and how use it. Now fire watch. OSHA required. Fire watch when combustion material are within 35 feet or hot work where opening exposed combustible when heat transfer could ignite nearby material. OSHA required fire watch to remain in place or least 30 minutes after welding, cutting and additional. Requirement fire watch during a break at least 60 minutes post work monitoring. No go condition. If required, fire protection and risk control cannot implemented. Welding or cutting should not be performed. This is the most important management principle hot work system are. The permit process should be able to stop work. The permit should never become rubber stamp. If condition change, revalidation or suspension may be necessary. Longer watch period, the risk condition justify it. Now, the standard and governance. NFPA 51B is recognized standard for hot work fire prevention and is widely used. Safe site procedure, responsibility and permit design. A practical hot work permit procedure for safety and maintenance. Consistency is very important. A workable permit to work for hot work should be simple enough. Supervisor and contractor follow in field while still ensuring control are in place. Higher risk job. Now define task and location. The exact task, the exact location, the equipment involved, who will perform the work, planet, start and finish time, whether the work is routine or non-routine. Inspect the area. Authorized individual should inspect work area before job begins. Checklist are combustible in immediate work area, hidden exposure, other side wall and floor, flammable atmosphere, nearby simultaneous operations, safe access and escape, access or extinguisher equipment. Now identify apply control. Typical control include moving the job safer location where practical, remove combustible from the area, protecting combustible that cannot be moved, isolate nearby hazard, verify ventilation, confirm extinguisher equipment immediately available, assign fire watch where required, define post-work monitoring duration, post-work risk assessment and permit process should be aligned especially for non-routine and higher hazard tasks. Now check for specific condition. Before approval, confirm job involve a confined space, a tank, vessel or container. Process safety risk in a high hazard operation. Contractor work requires host employer coordination, overlapping permit or simultaneous operations. Now authorize the work. Who authorized the work? The validity period, required precaution, any hold point, condition that would initiate the permit. Now monitoring during the job. The condition change during maintenance work. The process should clear. Who can stop the job? What changes trigger the re-evaluation? How suspension and extension handled? How team communicate changes in field condition. Fire watch. Maintain fire watch during the task. Continue post-work fire watch the required duration. Inspect the area after completion. Confirm soldering sources remain and close the permit only after area is safe. Now hot work permit checklist host verify before work start. Pre-start hot work permit checklist are work and location. Task type confirm, welding, cutting, brazing, grinding or similar exact location identified. Permit start and end time defined. Area classification or operation context understood. Area condition. Area inspected by authorized individual. Work move designated safe location if practical. Combustible remove or protected. Opening drain, penetration, duct, adjustment room and lower level review. Heat transfer risk access. Now equipment in emergency readiness. Suitable fire extinguisher equipment immediate available. Hot work equipment serviceable condition. Hoses, leads, regulator, torch, grounding, check. Gas cylinder, position and handle correctly. Now, authorized individual identified. Performing authority identified. Fire watch assigned where required. Worker and contractor brief the control and stop work condition. Now timing and closeout. Permit validity period defined. Post work fire watch duration defined. Closeout inspection required defined. Revalidation rules clear if condition change. Now special risk. Confined space involvement access. Container or vessel work access for cleaning, ventilation, testing and venting need. Additional risk assessment completed before site condition required. Now special case, confined space hot work permit required. Hot work in a confined space is not just hot work, smaller area. It often requires layer control from both the hot work process and permit required confined space process. Now OSHA confined space rule for hazardous atmosphere threshold that include oxygen below 19.5%, oxygen above 23.5%, flammable gas and vapor above 10% of lower flammable limit. A practical approach treat layer permit scenario, access hot work hazard and control. Determine Whatever permit required, confined space control also apply. Evaluate atmospheric condition, define ventilation and monitoring need, confirm rescue and attendant arrangement where required. Additional OSA, confined space resources for hot work container, tank, similar equipment, research indicate need cleaning, ventilation, testing, venting before heat is applied. Matter because residue and vapor can create ignition or explosion hazard. How to issue hot work permit consistency across employee and contractor. In many plant inconsistency, real weakness, the permit exit but each department shift contractor use is different lead to uneven inspection, uneven firewatch decision and uneven closeout. Standard workflow of the hot work process and employee and contractor with clear rule defined. Requester, authorized individual, perform authority, firewatch, permit closeout responsibility. Clear decision point. Is the hot work, is the location suitable, are combustible removed from protected, is firewatch required, does job involve confined space container, other added hazard, can required control implemented. Now contractor alignment are local permit standard, area review, authorization process and the closeout requirement, training and record. Now because of hot work as the border management process, not just checklist consistency depend on training, supervision, document record, field verification. The matter more in high hazard operation, the hot work control can inspected process safety management expectation even when container area empty. In practical, how issue a hot work permit come down all workflow authorized standard closeout expectation across all party. Now digital flow support from hot work permit. A many team issue does not understand hot work is execute process reliably across shift, work group, contractor while keeping record. They are rewrite later. Digital workflow support can help the making permit process more structured and traceable. Permit to work organization support, digital authorization record, required control check, structure firewatch, hold point, closeout step, link risk assessment, mobile field execution, report across hot work and related workflow. The use properly digital tool and support, consistent permit template and required field, traceable approval authorization record, structure firewatch and closeout step, integrate workflow, hot work and confined space scenario, report the support, not review, audit preparation. What digital workflow should not expected to do? Replace competent supervision, replace atmospheric testing equipment, replace fire protection measure, replace site specific procedure and guarantee compliance automatically. 4. Organization looking mature that approach value the digital workflow is less about the firm itself, more about control, making sure right check happen the right time with unstable record afterward. Now conclusion about hot work. Hot work permit most effective treated, control, inspect the area, verify control, authorize the work, monitor condition, maintain the firewatch where needed, complete post-work check and close the job properly. Difference, the permit that only document activity and permit system actively reduce the risk for safety and maintenance. Manager, a practical step is review the hot work permit procedure against the three questions. Does it clearly require area inspection by authorized individual? Does it define firewatch and post-work monitor apply? Does handle confined space and contract scenario consistently? If not, that is right place. Tight the procedure before the next job start in the field. Okay guys, This is up to our today's topic, hot work permit procedure. I hope you get sufficient knowledge after watching this video. Next Sunday, we have covered another chemical engineering topic. Till then, goodbye. Do take good care of yourself.